Jews stole the land. This isn't true. I mean, everyone deserves land, whether or not they were there first, but I'm always fascinated how people keep saying Jewish individuals stole the land of Israel. Because this is historically inaccurate, right? 2000 BCE, 2,000 years before Jesus, we have the Semites that are inhabiting kind of that area. Middle East, typically near Israel. 13th century BCE, the Jews are led out of Egypt by Moses, for being taken there as slaves, and they're back to the kingdoms of Israel and kingdom of Judah by the 10th century BCE. Babylonian conquests about 700 BCE, and the Babylonians basically take over Israel and it falls, lose the land again. Then after you have the Persian rule in 1530, Israel still don't have their land back, which they did have 2,500 years before. Jews get the land back, then the Romans get pissed off. Romans get pissed off in the year 70 CE, Common Era, and then they get really mad again 100 years later. 130 CE, Romans again kick the Jews out of the area. Then, of course, we have the Jewish diaspora for the next 1,900 years, right? The Jews have been kicked out of the land of Israel so many times over a literal 2,000-year period, from 2,000 years before Christ, all the way up to 100 AD, where the Romans just kicked them out again, that then Jews just spread all over Europe. However, then as they spread all over Europe, Holocaust occurs, and the Jews are concentrated in a central location, killed. Then, in the 9th century, the Zionist movement emerges. 19th century, not 9th century. 19th century, Zionism, the Jews should probably have an area that they can call theirs. Because the Babylonians kicked them out, Persians kicked them out, the Romans kicked them out, and then when they were kind of going around Europe everywhere, then Hitler tried to kill them all. He should give them a place that they own. Hence, Israel is formed. The establishment of Israel in 1948. I've got to say, I'm always fascinated how people start the history in 1948. They were given the land. And it seems like the 4,000 years before, including the 4,000 years where they were there in the first place, don't seem to matter. I'm not making the argument of, Jews were there first, therefore they deserve the land. Everyone deserves a place to live. But the idea of Jews stole their land. They were there first. Then they got kicked out and made slaves in Egypt. Then they made their way back. Then they got kicked out again by the Babylonians. They went back. Then they got kicked out by the Persians and the Romans. Then they went all throughout Europe and all got killed. And then they finally made their way back in the 19th century. And you're like, they stole the land. That is ignoring 4,000 years of history. That's crazy to me to say that, in my opinion. As an educator, that's crazy to say. I hope this helps.